Hello, class. My name is Shanna Borgson, and I'm speaking about Boston's Freedom Trail, which is a 2.5 mile long trail. It takes about 90 minutes, and you're able to see 16 various attractions that were key places during the American Revolution. And it is marked by a red line on the city walkway, so it's easy to follow. The Freedom Trail Foundation is the one who offers tours, both public and private, for various groups, functions, school field trips, etc. They also offer Freedom Trail players. These are people who dress up in 18th century garb, and they try to portray life of a Bostonian during the Revolutionary time period. And some of these people also dress up as famous Bostonians like Samuel Adams, Paul Revere, and Benjamin Franklin. These 16 sites are as follows. And also, all of these sites are all authentic. None of these are reproductions or recreations. The first site is the Boston Common. It is a large green space that begins the trail. This is where the colonial army would practice and train. It is also where the British troops first gathered and spent the night before heading to Concord for the first day of the American Revolution. Number 2 is the Massachusetts State House. This was actually finished after the Revolutionary War. Samuel Adams is known as the one who laid the cornerstone for the building, and it was designed by Charles Bulfinch. Number 3 is Park Street Church. It has a number of firsts associated with it, such as promoting American freedom, human rights, and social justice. Number 4 is the Old Granary Burial Ground. This is one of the earliest historic sites, which was founded in 1660, and it is sometimes called the Westminster Abbey of Boston due to the fact that famous patriots and Revolutionary War heroes are buried here, such as Samuel Adams, Paul Revere, and the Boston Massacre victims. Number 5 is King's Church and the King's Church Burial Ground. The Anglican Church was actually forced on Boston by the British King, and it is actually still active as a place of worship today. The burial ground is one of the earliest graveyards, and many of the headstones located within are from the first settlers of Boston. Number 6 is the Boston Latin School, which was founded on April 23rd, 1635. It's one of the oldest public schools, and it offered free education for boys, both rich and poor. Also out front is the Benjamin Franklin statue, since he is a famous Bostonian who was born in 1706. As we know, he's a famous printer, writer, publisher, statesman, political thinker, scientist, inventor, until he was kicked out of Boston and went to live in Philadelphia. Number 7 is the Old Corner Bookstore. It was built in 1718, and it's one of the oldest brick buildings in Boston. Number 8 is the Old South Meeting House. On December 16th, 1773, this had become the scene of many speeches for liberty. And on this night in December, this is the origin of the idea of the Boston Tea Party. Number 9 is the Old State House. This is where the Massachusetts Assembly and the British royal governors would meet until the Revolutionary War. And on July 18th, 1776, the first reading of the Declaration of Independence occurred here. Number 10 would be the Boston Massacre site. On March 5th, 1775, colonists lost their lives in a confrontation with the British soldiers. 6 soldiers went to trial over this. Number 11 is Faneuil Hall. Forgive my pronunciation. This was built and donated in 1742 by Peter Faneuil. It became known as the Cradle of Liberty because of speeches made by Samuel Adams and the other Sons of Liberty that occurred here. Number 12 is Paul Revere's house. It's the only 17th century wood dwelling still standing on the original site in Boston. Today it is a museum. Number 13 is the Old North Church, built in 1723. It's the oldest place of worship and still active today. And in 1775, Robert Newman hung 2 lanterns in the steeple to warn Charleston patriots about the British going by sea to Concord. Number 14 is the Copp's Hill Burial Ground. The gravestones have pockmarks on them from musket balls, from target practice by the British from 1660 and beyond. Number 15 is the USS Constitution. It was built in 1793, and it was used to protect U.S. merchant ships from Barbary pirates. It is the oldest wooden commission warship in the world, and it is nicknamed Old Ironsides after the War of 1812. And number 16 is Bunker Hill. This is a 221-foot monument that commemorates the first major battle of the Revolutionary War and the deadliest. It was fought on Breed's Hill, which was 2 miles away, and the battle took about 2 hours. The British may have won, but this strengthened the Patriots' resolve to win the war. I hope you have enjoyed this public history discussion on Boston.